My name is Naruto Uchiha, and I will be the one that avenges my clan. Believe it!
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Neon Pow here, and this week we're doing part 14 to What If Naruto Was an Uchiha. That meaning you have not seen the previous parts or the movie. I have both of those linked in the description and in the card above, so make sure to check that out. Also guys, during the premiere of this video, there's an awesome tool that you guys can use called Super Chat that will allow you to highlight your comments for me and others to see, and it will help support me and the channel. So definitely an interesting option to check out, but it's completely optional, and I love the support you guys are already giving me. Also, 85% of the people watching my videos have not subscribed, so make sure to hit subscribe button and that notification bell to stay up to date with all the juicy videos coming to you. Also, 500 likes for this like goal once again. I know you guys can do it. We're almost through with the series, so make sure to keep showing that support. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the video. In the last episode of Naruto Uchiha, the 5 great ninja villages and samurai finally decided to join forces for the upcoming war against Tobi and his mysterious army. Tobi has the entire world in fear due to his threat in reviving the god of shinobi, Madara Uchiha. This will also be a good time to reveal some power scaling for the upcoming battle. Naruto Uchiha, with his Rinne Sharingan and all the training he has gone through, not to mention he's a perfected Uchiha Hashirama mutant, is a quite bit stronger than canon dual Rinnegan Madara Uchiha. This means that Naruto easily passes his strongest KCM mode version in canon. Sasuke Uchiha's power ranks in between his canon beginning war arc and his Sage of Six Paths form, so a nice middle ground. He has the same abilities as canon EMS Sasuke, but the training with a more powerful Naruto and Lee has increased his power. As for Lee, that we shall figure out in due time. We now return to the current state of affairs. Most villages have finished preparations for the battle. Naruto has informed Tsunade that he will need to go on a quick journey alone to recruit 3 powerful shinobi that will help them in their battle against the enemies. Tsunade is a bit hesitant to send out one of their most powerful shinobi away from the battlefield, but believes Naruto's old comrades would be a great addition. Naruto immediately heads out to Orochimaru's different hideouts. As for Sasuke Uchiha and Menma Uzumaki, aka Rock Lee, Tsunade tasked them for a very important duty for the upcoming battle. She wants them to locate Tobi and attempt to stop him from reviving Madara. She knows that the villain is very sneaky, but she knows Sasuke's detective skills and intelligence is best to none. Also, she is happy to inform that they will be having an additional ninja join them that will aid in the recon and travel. The ninja being Sai. Fortunately, once he woke up, he seemed to have turned docile. Sasuke's Genjutsu reversal was a success. However, Sasuke interjects by saying that he believes Kakashi-sensei would also be a great person to have on this mission. He specifically mentions him because of his unique Mangekyo power. Sasuke doesn't say it out loud, but he feels that somehow Kakashi and Tobi's visual prowess might be connected in a way. Tsunade has complete trust in Sasuke's judgment and agrees. Now, with these 4 on a mission to locate and stop Tobi in his tracks, the allied shinobi forces could have more confidence in focusing on Tobi's mass mysterious army he had hinted at them. Before Sai, Sasuke, Kakashi, and Lee leave, Tsunade specifically asks Lee to provide the pre-battle speech to encourage the rest of the forces. She knows Lee might not be the wisest person, but she definitely knows that that kid can make any grim situation seem conquerable. Lee is a bit nervous and hesitant to accept her offer, but then he thinks this would be the perfect way to share his motivations to the world, like Guy Sensei always told him to do. As Lee walks up in front of thousands of shinobi, he gives a thumbs up, takes a deep breath, and says,
We are connected and are strong because of our friendships with each other. Let the power of youth lead the way to victory. Yosh!
After his speech, everyone just stands there quietly looking at Lee with his thumbs up to everyone. A person coughs in deep silence. However, after a few minutes of Lee just standing there with a big smile and thumbs up, slow claps can be heard, and then a roaring cheer is picked up. It took some time, but now everyone is pumped up for the upcoming battle and believe they can do it. The shinobi forces move out, and so does our 4 main squad. Now, moving back to Naruto, he has just arrived at one of Orochimaru's hideouts. This is where he will be recruiting Suigetsu. As Naruto moves through the dark corridors of the creepy underground tunnels, he comes across a lab housing a water-filled glass container. He bangs on the glass a few times to see if he receives a response. After a few times of doing so, Suigetsu finally responds with annoyance. However, his mood changes once he sees Naruto, who he hasn't seen in quite some time. Naruto updates him on the situation and that if he promises to help him, he will break him out. Suigetsu, now knowing Orochimaru is dead, has some motivation to want to leave, but he isn't a fan of the whole war thing, so he says he would rather just chill here. This makes Naruto a bit frustrated, calling Suigetsu a wimp. However, Naruto then recalls something that might persuade him. Naruto knows Suigetsu wants to obtain the 7 swords of the mist, so he tells him that he can show him where one of those are, and he can have it. Naruto remembers that the shark man he fought a while ago had some type of sword, and while it was at the bottom of the lake, Suigetsu didn't need to know that. This news makes Suigetsu's eyes sparkle, and he finally accepts to join Naruto. The two next head off to the prison-like hideout where a shinobi known as Yugo is restrained. Naruto wants him for his exceptional power with the curse mark. Once they get to his cell, Yugo is on a rampage. Naruto unlocks the door and Yugo bursts out. Since Naruto is the closest on sight, Yugo goes to kill Naruto. However, Naruto just blocks and dodges each of his hits. He then grabs Yugo's arms and throws him on the floor. While Naruto isn't as good at genjutsu like his brother Sasuke, he was able to use it efficiently enough to turn Yugo back to his normal state for the time being. Yugo is astonished that he is back to normal, and then finally recognizes Naruto. He remembers that Kimimaro had great respect for him all those years back. This, on top of the fact that Naruto can save Yugo from rampaging, earns his loyalty. Naruto then says perfect, and then updates him on the situation and what his plan is. Yugo follows and agrees to help make his plan a success. The trio now go to recruit the final member of their team. Her name is Karin. Naruto remembers overhearing Orochimaru that her healing abilities are remarkable, so she would be a great benefit to their war efforts. When the crew arrive on scene, they are stopped by some guards. Karin comes out threatening the intruders that they will feel her wrath for trespassing, but then when she finally comes out, she immediately forgets what she was saying, and her face flushes red from seeing Naruto. She begins squealing and goes to get Naruto a big hug, but he dodges her. She then gets herself together as best as she can and apologizes for her rude guards. Naruto tells her it's no problem at all, as he thought the whole thing was a bit funny. She then blushes again and begins touching her fingers together, wondering why Naruto came all the way out here. Naruto then tells her that they came out here for her, of course, because they really need her. This makes Karin's nose shoot with blood, knocking her back and passing out for a few seconds. Naruto, with his extraordinary speed, is able to catch her before she falls. This act doesn't help her cool down the slightest, but just adds to the emotion she is currently feeling. After a few minutes, Karin is able to stabilize. Naruto tells her about what's going on with the war and how her healing abilities will be a great help. Now that she hears the whole story, she's a bit saddened that Naruto wasn't there for her specifically, but is still happy that she came all the way out here to ask for her help. She obviously still agrees to join their team and help with the battle ahead. Now that the team is finally completed, Naruto notifies the communication team. He then gets an abrupt message signaling them to hurry over to the battlefield where Sasuke and Lee are, as things are beginning to look dire over there. Naruto and his team immediately rush over. We now transition over to Sasuke and Lee's team a few hours prior. They are continuing their search for Tobi's location. After a tedious hunt, Sasuke gets a lead. They have just uncovered Tobi's location. He hadn't revived Madara yet, so they just made it in time. However, while unknown to our heroes, Tobi's plan was to lure them to his location and take them out right then and there. Our team, just seeing Tobi alone, feels confident they will be able to defeat them together, but little do they know, Tobi is summoning something huge, something monstrous. A big explosion happens, and out comes a giant beast. It is the Ten Tails. The easy fight our team thought they were facing just got a lot harder. Fortunately, Lee looks to his team and says he will be able to hold back the beast with Sai to allow Sasuke and Kakashi to fight Tobi. Sasuke gives Lee a thumbs up. As Kakashi and Sasuke begin their battle, Tobi is pretty confident he will be able to defeat these two, as he knows they won't be able to land a single finger on him. However, what Tobi doesn't know is that Sasuke has planned ahead with Kakashi to counteract Tobi's almost unstoppable permeability power. Without wasting any time, Sasuke immediately turns into his full-powered Susanoo form. He readies 2 arrows infused with Amaterasu and shoots it at the menace. Tobi doesn't even bother dodging it, as he believes the fool's efforts are futile. But then Kakashi uses his Kamui to warp one of the 2 arrows. As the first arrow in the current world passes through Tobi, Tobi begins laughing and smiling maniacally. However, after a brief few seconds, his laughs and smirks turn into bloodshot screams of pain, and a face turns into complete agony. The arrow that was sent to the Kamui dimension managed to land a solid blow on Tobi, tearing his abdomen. Furthermore, the Amaterasu began to engulf the rest of his body. Kakashi and Sasuke, while enacting a gruesome plan, feel that it was a success and they finally defeated their biggest villain. However, within a few seconds, Kakashi begins yelling. Sasuke quickly looks over to see Tobi impaling his sensei from behind. Sasuke doesn't know how this is possible. He looks back to where Tobi's burning body was and sees that it's gone. Tobi has sacrificed his Mangekyo Sharingan to perform the Izanagi and revive himself, stabbing Kakashi in the process. Sasuke, witnessing all this happening before his eyes, snaps and immediately grabs Tobi by the neck and slams him to the ground. He then proceeds to beat him with his fists until Tobi is lying on the floor on the brink of death. His mask is still slightly intact, but even if it wasn't, his face would be indistinguishable at this point after the beating he received. Afterwards, Sasuke immediately runs over to Kakashi-sensei. He is still alive, but is losing blood at a very fast rate. Sasuke doesn't know what to do as this casualty wasn't in his calculations. To make things worse, Sasuke begins hearing an evil laugh coming from Tobi's directions. He then quickly looks back to see half of Tobi's body black, and also him weaving a familiar hand sign. It is their sign for Rin Rebirth. Sasuke attempts to stop him, but it's already too late. Sasuke looks around to see something disastrous happen, but nothing seems to occur. He then theorizes that since Tobi only had one Rinnegan, he wasn't able to properly complete the Rin Rebirth since he has only seen it done with a pair of Rinnegan. Fortunately, not all seems grim. Within a few moments, Team Guy makes an appearance to the battlefield to provide backup as he heard things were beginning to look grim. Neji can see his fellow comrade Sasuke has gone through the worst. He begins calling out to him and running over to see what he could do to help. However, Neji's voice gets immediately cut off as Madara's ultimate Susanoo slams into the ground, squishing Neji, killing him instantly. The fully revived Madara has finally appeared, and all we can hear in the background is a half-hearted scream by Tenten. Neji. Our hero's grim situation just hit the fan, and things look to only get worse from here. And that's ending this part. Now guys, make sure to comment your opinions below as I love interacting with all of you. Also, next week will be the finale to this series, so make sure you beasts come out and support this awesome series to its end. Now guys, without further ado, much love, Neon out.